Hello there everybody, hey Fevers, Adam Clery here, and it is Sunday, the day of rest. But not for me, because we're back again with hot fried slices of wrestling news, and my god, have we got a bumper selection to deliver to you through your phones and your thingies into your eyes and all your other thingies, including, see if I can do this without looking at my notes, WWE bans an allegedly dangerous move and superstars react to that. They are on the verge of rehiring a legendary wrestler. The Undertaker opens up on the screw job. A Vince McMahon book could be coming next year. WWE continues to lay off staff in the wake of the COVID crisis, and Apollo Crews thanks one man for his recent push on the main roster. I can't believe I did all that without looking at my notes. My name is Adam Clery. This is the news. Right now, first up, WWE has taken some drastic steps this weekend and banned a wrestling move from being used by its performers on its broadcasting. Now, the move might not come as a total shock to you. It is the buckle bomb, you know, where you hoist your opponent up for a power bomb, run into the corner, looking out the side, run into the corner, and then throw them in. This was, of course, the move that allegedly injured Sting during one of his last matches in the entire world, and Seth Rollins also apparently separated Finn Balor's shoulder with it in that first ever Universal Championship match. But it is not Seth Rollins, who is still using the move, I might add, who is the reason why this is banned. Apparently, the recent viral coverage Nia Jax's botch on Clery Sane got is what's pushed WWE, according to Pro Wrestling Insider, to outlawing this move. Now, I will say, the move's track record isn't brilliant. You can think off the top of your head of at least 3 people who've been left not in a particularly good state following this, but given the amount of times it is used, that's probably a tiny percentage of anyone who has ever taken it. And indeed, Shane Helms, the Hurricane, he has reacted to this by saying, it's never the move, it's always the performer. He did the Vertebreaker, one of the most dangerous moves in wrestling for years, without hurting a single person. And while Shane Helms is right, a company like WWE will be, let's just say, mitigating the risk in this circumstances. If they had 3 performers be hurt with it and 2 separate performers hurt someone using it, it's probably at the stage now where it's not really worth it. It's not like it's somebody's finisher. It's not like it's one of the coolest moves in the world. It's not like people are going to stop watching just because they can't see a buckle bomb anymore. It is, of course, worth pointing out as well, this isn't the first move associated with Seth Rollins we've seen banned. He was told not to use the curb stomp because of that. Apparently, Vince was imagining Shane and Stephanie curb stomping each other and thought that was a terrible look, and of course that came back, so whether or not we do see it again, we don't know. But for now, according to Pro Wrestling Insider, the buckle bomb is out. Now, from something that's going away to something that might well be coming back, because Kurt Angle, one of the many staff released by the company on the eponymous Black Wednesday, you remember, where they booted out loads of their talent in the middle of a global health crisis where nobody was in a position to go get any other work? Oh, those were the days. Anyway, Kurt Angle might be returning to the company. Now, if you're sat there going, wait, the guy was just on NXT. Yes, he is. He was there as a freelancer, but he was let go from his backstage production role and told to just do whatever the hell he liked. Not a big deal for a man who has amassed so many accolades, so much wealth in the process, but apparently with his 90-day no-compete clause coming to an end, yep, it was that long ago, WWE are like, oh, he might go somewhere good, so they are thinking about bringing him back into the fold. Now, if you recall, there was a lot of talk around AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view that Sting could be debuting in the company, and indeed rumours persist that he is in talks to go there in some capacity. So, while it's clear that WWE aren't bothered about their mid-carders going and finding other work eventually, the legends of the industry, which they can just have because they've got the kind of money for that, that appears to be a bit of an issue. So stay tuned for more on this. We may be seeing Kurt Angle back in a more official capacity than just picking up Timothy Thatcher's teeth. And from one legend of WWE who might be returning to a man who was already there. No, I've got absolutely nothing for this. Apollo Crews, you may have noticed, has been enjoying a bit of a purple patch on the main roster, recently winning the United States Championship, which is, of course, far removed from just losing every single match he has in very short order and just being a massive waste of space. The guy's been categorically underused since making the call-up from NXT, but now it finally feels that he's getting a fair crack of the old whip, and as a result, he has been speaking to TalkSport about A, what is happening there, but more importantly, the man he credits for this recent run of success. None other than Paul Heyman himself. 100%. Paul Heyman is fantastic to work for. He's been very hands-on with me and he's helped me a lot, especially a lot in areas like my promos. And that's one thing I feel like I can always improve on. I can improve on all areas of my game and make sure I work on becoming the complete superstar. And I won't stop until that happens. I feel like human beings in general, we never see ourselves as perfect, but we always strive for perfection. It's cool for me to go out there and work with Aleister Black because I don't remember the last time anyone has seen me in the ring for that amount of time. Not even in NXT, I don't think I was in the ring for that long. The funny thing about that is I was driving my kids around earlier that day trying to get them to fall asleep in the car, and I get the call if I could be in the Performance Center to have that match. And I was like, yeah, not a problem. For me, I was like, I'll drop everything I'm doing right now because that's just who I am. I do what I'm asked. Now, just a little quick one on this, because if you said to me, Adam, can you drop everything you're doing right now and come to the Performance Center? I'd be like, sure, turns off the television, or sure, puts down the PlayStation controller. Not just leaves my kids when I'm trying to look after them for the day. Like, that all reads to me like, this was a great opportunity. I've taken, grabbed the ring, the dream, and all this. That sounds to me like a man who was desperately trying to do some crisis PR, having really annoyed his wife. Now, despite what you may think, taking one look at all the parks and beaches in the world over the weekend, this global health issue continues to roll on, and as a result, companies are still having to take measures to offset the damage. We saw, of course, in WWE all these Perspex screens because we still can't have crowds in it, and that is apparently going to continue for some time. But also, according to Pro Wrestling Insider, there are a number of changes still being made in the hierarchy of WWE in order to counteract all of this. Specifically, that a lot of officials, a lot of higher-ups, a lot of executives in the company are being told they're gonna have to just take a lot less money for the time being. There are no details right now on who specifically this refers to. You'd imagine it is not Vince McMahon or Stephanie McMahon or Triple H McMahon or Shane McMahon or Jimmy McMahon or Johnny McMahon or Michael McMahon or Manny Man McMahon or Skipper McMahon or Chris McMahon. But it's definitely somebody though, and while WWE apparently hope to rehire all their furloughed staff sometime in July, I missed this by the way, but apparently Nigel McGuinness has been furloughed in the UK. They hope to bring all those back in July. The executives at the top of the company are, for the time being, having to take a bit of a hit on it. And good, in my opinion. Now, wrestling kind of feels like a lot of conversations are taking place that have needed to take place for a very long time. Certainly Vice's dark side of the ring has put things back on the table that wrestling in general just hadn't really wanted to talk about, but now we are talking about them freely and frankly, and people are getting upset and people are getting happy, and it's just a complete mess. It's all over the place, but at least we are talking. Now, one such matter has been the Montreal Screwjob. Bret Hart has never been quiet on the matter, but now lots of other voices are piling in, and we're getting a little bit closer to the exact nugget of truth of what went on. And one person who was not involved, but certainly present at the time, was The Undertaker. He's been speaking on podcasts about it, and most recently to ESPN about his role in it, his reaction to it, his response to it, his feelings to it, and, well, the following quote is definitely worth a listen. Mentioning that he almost didn't show up for work the next day, Taker said, "I definitely could have, and the next day I was really pissed that it got to that point. I didn't show up to the TV the next day until really late because I didn't know if I was going to TV the next day. Mick didn't go, and it was late in the day before I decided to go. I decided to find out what happened here and why it was done that way. My point was like, you should have switched me. You should have put me in the match somehow with Bret. I'm sure Bret would have dropped it to me, and I could have dropped it to Shawn right after that. There was a different way to do it, but Vince had to cover his bases." Now, that's certainly the most interesting element of all this, that Taker wanted to put himself in that match in order to avoid the inevitable blow-up that was going to happen as a result of an actual screw job. But personally, this is completely off topic, my favourite thing he talks about in this ESPN interview is how Bret Hart socked Vince McMahon through a crowd of people when he shouldn't have even been able to reach him. You've all heard the story, haven't you? I'm going to go in the shower, and if I get back, if you're still here, I am going to drop you, Vinnie Mac. Well, that not only apparently happened, but Vince had loads of people in front of him to stop it happening, and Bret Hart still somehow managed to land him like a sack of spuds. And from Vince McMahon to Vince McMahon. You see, I got a link in there. Eventually, a new book is being penned by Abraham Reisman, the man who is responsible for the seminal biography of the life and career of Marvel's Stan Lee. He is writing a book about Vince McMahon, who is an interesting man, who has had an interesting life and done some very interesting things in the process. Your Honor. And this is apparently going to be a warts and all look about the guy's entire life, from being simply a dyslexic child to, as Abraham literally calls it in his tweet about it, the iconoclastic emperor of professional wrestling. Now, I googled iconoclastic right before I did this, and it means attacking or criticizing a beloved or sacred institution. So, yeah, the book is going to be called Ringmaster. Yes, actually, and will be released sometime in 2022. Now, apparently this is going to be featuring interviews not only from people who were aided by Vince McMahon's ascent to the top, but also those who suffered greatly as a result. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of drums getting beat and axes being ground and old wounds getting opened. And you know what? Reading is obviously for nerds, but I might give that one a go. Anyway, yes, that is today's news. My thanks, of course, to Adam Clery. You are welcome. And I, of course, have been Adam Clery. You are welcome. Let us know what you made of it all in the comments below. And, of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I have, of course, been Adam Clery, as I've just literally said twice. And I will see you soon. Bye.